Hey guys, it's Kristen and Bethany here, and today we're just gonna have a super fun, down-to-earth conversation talking to this girl about engagement and marriage. Most of y'all know that she recently got engaged. If you haven't watched her telling her story of her engagement with Dave, you've got to go watch it. It's on our YouTube channel.
It's only an hour.
It is so fun.
It's only an hour.
He sings his ukulele song, which is so cute. So I know you guys have a lot of questions, and we're not going to get to all of them in this, but I thought it would be fun for me to get to interview you and just ask some questions about the process, engagement, and then the marriage that's coming up. So first question I want to ask you is, you've been wanting to get married for a long time. You're 29
years, no big deal.
And so how this whole time have you pursued contentment and a heart of rest just in your singleness?
Well, I for sure never expected to be unmarried at 29. I'll be 30 by the time I get married. So that was a shock, but I think it was just coming to the point of realizing that God's plans weren't necessarily my plans. And I think you have to get to a point in your life where you realize like, oh wow, like I have all these expectations of how my life will go. I think that, Prince Charming's going to come by 19, I'll be married by 20, life will be perfect. And when that doesn't happen, it really like forces you to stop and say like, okay, am I truly surrendered to God, or am I only surrendered because I want him to give me what I want? And that makes me surrendered. And so for me, it was really coming to this point of saying, God, I will trust you with my future, even if it doesn't look like what I want it to look like, because I know ultimately your plans are for my best. And so when I truly in my heart like came to that conclusion and said, yes, God, I will trust you with my future.
Even if it means I don't ever get married?
Even if it means I don't ever get married, I was able to find so much peace and contentment. Instead of trying to always work it out and figure it out, I was able to just rest and know that if God wanted me to get married, he would bring a guy along, and well, he did.
God obviously did bring an awesome guy, which I love. And y'all know we're sisters. And so Dave is going to actually be my brother-in-law, which I'm so excited about. So Dave came along, and eventually you got to the point where you're like, I want to marry this guy. So how did you know that he was the one?
That's the big question. When you've never like been there where you're like, yes, know that he's the one, you kind of wonder like, how can you know? It seems like the mystery question. Like, someone tell me, like, God, please write on the walls. I need help,
It's so true.
But what was really cool is that I actually learned a lot of stuff that you had said about, and other girls that I know that are married. All of you kind of said the same thing. Like, there's not something magical that happens. It's really a matter of doing your research, spending time together, building a friendship,
asking
questions, and ultimately making a choice. And so I was like, oh, it's really not that big and scary and intimidating. And so I was like, okay, there's not going to be something like, I'm not going to have like sparks and, fireworks coming out of my heart. It's a little bit more down to earth. And so what Dave and I did is we just went around about our relationship super intentionally, trying to figure out, is he the one that I should commit my life to? And am I the one he should commit his life to? So we went through pre-engagement counseling. We did like individual mentorships with people, trying to get just personal wisdom and advice. We read books together. We went through tons of questions together. Tons of questions. We spent a lot of time together. We visited his family. They live far away. He spent a lot of time with my family. And so all of those things eventually came to the point where I was like, there are no red flags.
Wow.
There's no reason for us not to get married unless he just doesn't want to or I don't want to. At this point, everyone's supportive. We have great wisdom saying this is a good thing. I really like him. He really likes me. Do we want to commit to spending our life together? And so ultimately that big question really just comes down to a choice. And I chose, and I want him to be the one.
The engagement. Did you know that it was coming?
Such a sweet moment. I've been engaged for like barely any time, so it's still so fresh. I knew it was coming in the sense that like I knew we both were at the point where there was nothing else we wanted to figure out. We had done everything, all of our homework basically up until that point, and we basically just had like an open conversation. Like, is there anything else you would like to do? Anyone else you'd like to meet with, visit, read before getting engaged? And he was like, no. And I was like, no. And so we were like, well, I guess we'll see what happens. So in the background, a lot of stuff was happening. Like, he met with my dad. He talked to like all my siblings, he was very kind.
He called me and said, hey, here's what I'm thinking. I was like, you are so sweet.
It was really, really kind. And so I didn't know like any of the behind the scenes details, but I just knew I was like waiting, like, well, I mean, it's going to happen eventually. So I think that's how it works sometimes when you're so intentional, it's coming, but I didn't know any of the details. I kind of had a guess of the day, but I didn't know any of the details, which made it really fun.
Yeah, it was so special. And he did such an awesome job. Again, go watch their YouTube video if you want to hear the whole story. We don't have time for it here. But I'll describe how you're feeling now. You're on the other side. You've got a ring on your finger for the first time. How does it feel now to be on the other side? Really after almost 30 years of just trusting the Lord in singleness.
It feels crazy, honestly. It feels like I remember I was so overwhelmed when Dave proposed to me because it's just this feeling of like, wow, I really had come to the point of being like, I could never get married. And I was okay with that. So being like standing there and seeing him down on one knee and feeling like, wow, like this doesn't happen to me. Bethany doesn't get engaged. She doesn't get married. So being now on this side of it, it's still crazy. It's like overwhelming. Like, how is this happening, you know? And it's so wonderful. And I think the biggest thing that I would say is there's just so much peace. Like, I know that sounds weird, but knowing that my family loves him, our wise mentors love us in a relationship, people are supportive. I just feel like, wow, it was worth it to wait this long to find someone that is like so great and that is such a good thing, you know, that people are excited about. And so I feel like I can be in this engagement season genuinely joyful and excited and feeling totally overwhelmed about planning a wedding, because I kind of like wrote it off like, well, I don't even think about that. And so now I'm like, weddings, you have to plan those. Yeah. So I'm literally kind of like, not exactly what I'm going to do about that. I don't know.
Not only are you going to be planning an entire wedding, but you're also preparing for a huge thing that you're about to enter into, which is the covenant of marriage. So what are you and Dave doing? I know you've been intentional, but how are you continuing to grow and learn and prepare for marriage?
That's so important. You don't just want to stop. And I feel like we are both committed to growing and learning. We are actually going to be doing more counseling. Woo! So the pastor that is marrying us, who's the pastor of our church, the church that Dave and I go to, he's going to be performing our ceremony. And so he is going to do like 4 or 5 additional counseling sessions with us. And he'll be recommending things kind of more specifically to what we need specifically to prepare for marriage. So that's probably going to be the main thing, as well as continuing to get individual mentorship and discipleship, things like that.
Thinking about getting married, what are you most excited about and most nervous about?
Most excited about driving away from our wedding and being like, finally we're free.
And leaving all the cleanup behind to all your family left there.
Oh my goodness, yes, that will be amazing. Just because, you know, it's like we obviously don't live together. And so having the opportunity to go on a honeymoon where really we can just be together and talk, and it's like a vacation. It just sounds like the most wonderful thing to just actually get to be together. And so both of us, Dave and I, are super excited about that. What am I most nervous about? Well, I think most nervous is all of the life of the future planning. Like, we have to find a house, like a place to live. Like, we have to, like, all these things. Like, you have to make decisions.
You have to, like, grow up and figure it all out.
And just realizing, like, this is serious. Like, this marriage is serious business, you know, and we take it very seriously. So I think it's just a little bit of nervousness of, like, I never really thought about all of this. And now I'm so excited. But it's like, oh, like, I'm actually doing this, you know?
You learn together. It's so fun. Well, I'm so excited for you. And I know so many of you are excited for Bethany because you've emailed us, you've commented and said congratulations. So I know she appreciates your support and it's just so fun for all of us to celebrate together. But I know some of you are in a season like you were where you're single, you want to get married, you see that it's a good thing, but you're just sitting here wondering, will it ever be me? Will I ever get married? And we don't know the answer to that question. And so what would you say just to encourage the woman watching right now who's in that position?
And that's a hard position to be in. I was there for a long time, so I can understand and relate to those feelings. They're very fresh in my mind. I totally get it. One of the things that I would just say is that I am not happy and joyful now because I'm in a relationship or because I'm engaged. Really, the same amount of like joy and contentment that I had as a single woman is really the exact same amount that I have now being engaged. Yes, it's fun and it's exciting, but I'm still the same person. And I know people always say that, like, you'll be the same sinner, you know, and I'm like, oh, hopefully not me, you know, I'll be like above it, but it's true. And so I would just encourage you to think about it and say, wow, if I can really strive after being a truly content, peaceful woman who's resting and, like I said before, trusting in God, then you can actually enjoy the single years and you're not always waiting for life to start when you get married. You can enjoy and say, wow, God, you have me here right now for a purpose. I want to thrive in this season, and so I'm going to do whatever it takes to get my eyes off of myself and my wants. I'm going to get them on other people. I'm going to get serving other people, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get my heart focused on trusting in God. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 is like my life verse. It transformed my single years because I just learned to trust God so fully. And I love my single years. Like, I don't look back like, man, I wish I would have. I really don't have a lot of regrets.
You were a very, like, vibrant single.
And I loved it. And so I feel like I wish more single people would have that, because if you think that marriage is going to make you happy, I hate to say it, but a lot of married people are miserable. And think of how many married people are actually getting divorced. So work now while you have the time to become truly joyful and content, because if God does have marriage for you one day, that will carry over and it will be the biggest blessing to you and your future husband.
And just to piggyback on that, if you are watching and you're like, that's super encouraging, but I need more, I need something I can can grab onto. Well, you actually wrote 2 chapters in our book that just released, Love Defined, specifically for singles, and at the time you were completely single.
Yeah,
you
that's the
didn't
crazy
know
part.
that Dave was going to speak up. You didn't know that you were going to get married when you wrote this
I know,
last year. And
it's
so
crazy.
the 2 chapters that she wrote, chapters 8 and 9, When Your Heart's Desire is Unfulfilled, and then 5 strategies for thriving as a single girl. So if you don't have a copy, I encourage you to grab it and just even jump straight to those chapters and read it. If you do have a copy, go read those chapters because I know you will be so encouraged by them.
Thanks so much for watching the video today, guys. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from us, you can subscribe to our channel below because we post new videos every Wednesday. And if you'd like to keep up with us more during the week, not just once a week, head over to our website, girldefined.com. What's it called?
Bethany Talks Engagement and Marriage.
Oh, okay.
Ready for it?
Yep. Need a chicken dance to loosen up.
I know, right? I hate to say
Speed it up.
Yes. Already at 4 minutes.
Oh, not bad.
Oh, really?
That was a shock.
I've
been doing great.
Every time I say short, you go long.
Okay.
Good short answer.
I know. I was proud.
Okay. Oh, I thought you were going to keep saying more.
No, that was it.
Okay.
I was like kind of done.
One of the ways that we keep this YouTube channel going and rolling is by you supporting us. So we have so many of you, like over 100+ people who are supporting us currently on patreon.com, giving $1, $2 per video, but we need to raise a little more support. And so we have a goal of trying to get to 200 supporters, 200 patrons by the end of June. So if you appreciate this channel, if you've been blessed, if you've been encouraged by it, then we'd be so grateful if you come over to patreon.com by clicking the link below and just pledging $1 or $2 a video to help us get to 200 supporters by the end of June. Thank you so much.